everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Destination Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Stoker. We have a really great show for you today. It's a friend of mine. Her name is Bethany B., and she's a digital content specialist at Explore Utah Valley. Bethany, thanks for being here.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So you and I have had the chance to get to know each other a little bit over the last couple of years with the work you've done with Explore Utah Valley. And before we dive too far into the conversation we've got kind of teed up today, I'd love to have you tell us a couple things about you, and we'll start with your dream destination. So if you could go anywhere in the world, it can't be Utah Valley. Where would it be?
Oh, of course, of course. I am going to Copenhagen next month, and I'm super excited. And I guess the reason this is going to be so Gen Z of me, but ChatGPT told me if I was any city in the whole world, I'd be Copenhagen. So now I want to see if that's true. I was like, it looks pretty cute. I've heard like there's fashion and like good food. And so I'm pretty excited. We'll see. But yeah, that's probably my dream destination right now.
Oh, I am totally going to do that same exercise with AI. I've never asked it that.
Yeah, it's super fun.
So what prompted you to prompt AI with that question?
Oh, me and my friends were just like rotting on ChatGPT and just like asking all these crazy things. Like if we were a cat, what cat would be? If we were color, what color would we be? Like just crazy stuff, probably giving it so much of our data, which is probably not ideal, but it's fun. It was fun.
And so you said, if I was a city, what city would I be? And you got Copenhagen.
Yeah, you say like what you know about me. If I was a city, any city in the world, which city would I be? And then it will tell you.
And so what was its justification?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, but I think it was like saying like I'm pretty ADHD and kind of all over the place, and I love like food and like fashion and stuff like that. And so it was like, oh, you would love it here. So we'll see if ChatGPT was right. I'm gonna go boots on the ground journalism.
I love it. So are you going to document the whole thing?
Me and my husband have tried to be vloggers loosely. We're not very good at it, but we might. Yeah, we'll film.
I just think it would be such a fun piece of content to say, ChatGPT told me if I was a city, this is the city I would be, and I'm going to document our journey, and then I'm going to give you my verdict at the end. I think people would love that.
Yeah, that would actually be fun. I should do a TikTok series.
Totally.
I think that'd be awesome. Good idea.
I'm subscribed. I'm in. If you do it, I'm
Done.
in.
Everybody go watch it, like and subscribe. April 25th.
Smash the like button. Okay.
Smash that like button. Yeah.
What about a favorite travel memory that you have?
Oh, I think something that was really fun is we were in Estonia, and we were like at this really fancy restaurant, and the guy had asked where we were from, and we said Utah. And we were like, there's no way like the student in Estonia is going to know like Utah. And he's like, yeah, Utah, the Utah Jazz. And we were like, what? And he's like, I know every single sports team in the entire US. And we were like,
No
amazing.
way.
Yeah, so we totally knew. And I'm going to a Jazz game tomorrow. So that's for him. I can't remember his name, but my guy in Estonia, he's great.
Shout out to Estonia.
Yeah, shout out to Estonia. Great place.
What were you doing in Estonia?
We were in Finland, and then we found out you can just like take a ferry over. And I'm not going to lie, this is a hot take, but I think I liked Estonia better than Helsinki.
Really?
Yeah, so if you guys go, don't skip Estonia. It had really good food and it was beautiful.
Okay, what's the landscape of Estonia? I actually don't know much about Estonia.
I guess I only went into the city, but it's kind of just like typical traditional European city. Like there were some pretty colorful buildings and things like that, and yeah, it seemed older in some ways, which don't history fact check me, than Helsinki. It was kind of fun, and their food was just really good. So
awesome. Okay, all right. You've given me some new stuff on the agenda: Copenhagen and Estonia.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Bethany, I want to hear a little bit about your backstory, your journey, and what actually led you to explore Utah Valley.
Yeah, so it kind of starts kind of wild because I was like 14 and I started my social media and I started doing photography, and I ended up working with a lot of influencers and shooting for like brands pretty young. So that kind of exposed me to like the social media world. And I had realized like, oh, I actually really love the social media marketing aspect over even just the photo taking. And so then further in my career, I went into like higher ed, nonprofit, and I worked in local government. And so that kind of led me into tourism, which is kind of a mixture of all of that. We're educating, we're connected with our local government.
What did you do in local government?
Yeah, I did communications at Vineyard City in Utah
Cool.
Valley. Yeah, so I got a lot of exposure to like how the community works and like how all of that works, and it was really awesome.
So is that you were at Vineyard and then you saw the job opening at Explore Utah Valley, or how did you work your way in there?
Yeah, my boss at the time told me about it. She was like, "You know, this job popped up and it'd be really good for you." And she was like, "I think in a month you're going to be working at Explore Utah Valley." And I was like, "What?" And I did. She helped me get
Wow.
the job because I feel like in Utah County we're so about like helping each other out in community, and like that's really shown. And so yeah, it was really amazing. But
Cool.
and then I still get to work with a lot of the people I knew in government, so it's fun.
Well, and how has your role evolved since you came over?
Oh yeah, it's changed a ton. When I started, I was kind of just like supposed to take over social, kind of assisting, and then as I've been here, I own all of our platforms. I help with the creative for our meta ads. I even have an intern now that helps me with content, and so we've just really grown and scaled it, and we've seen where social media can be effective, the strategy in every part of your marketing plan, not just organic social media. It's honestly like the front leader of a lot of the marketing that we do because social media is your test pool. And then we know like that content performs well, like we can put it on meta ads. So it's grown a lot. I'm still learning a lot on the backside of meta ads, but it's been awesome.
Great. And what about for those that are listening? Just give me the overview of Utah Valley because this is a unique place that if you haven't been here, there's so many unique dynamics. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we're like 30 minutes south of Salt Lake. We cover like a huge span of a county. We have tons of agritourism. We have our beautiful mountains, of course. We have Robert Redford's resort. We're really like a family destination. We have pillars like Thanksgiving Point that are really amazing for families to visit. So we're kind of just this like happy, we're like a lot of people call Utah Valley Happy Valley. We're kind of just this happy, awesome place that has that mix of like the urban and the nature, and it's just hard to describe until you visit. There's a lot of like preconceived notions that we're boring, and I swear we're not boring. I'm like, follow us on social media and I'll prove that to you. But we actually have a series that's like day 3 of proving Utah Valley isn't boring. So
I love it.
we have a lot of fun hidden gems that have gone pretty viral, and yeah, it's just a beautiful mix of nature, and just everyone that comes says how amazing the people are and how kind they are. So
Great. And then of course we have Sundance kind of within
yep,
the
Sundance.
bounds, and then also BYU, UVU.
Yes, I can't believe I almost forgot BYU. You can tell I'm not a sports girl. We're BYU's in the Big 12, and so that's been a huge piece of our tourism, sports tourism, and um, they're doing amazing things. So we get to just amplify that.
Awesome. Awesome. And when you bring influencers to town or creators to town, give me your top 3 restaurants. And this is totally selfish. I want to know where I should go.
Honestly, a lot of times we kind of hover in downtown Provo just because that's walkable for them. So I really love like Black Sheep Cafe, Communal's really good. Honestly, for like quick lunches, I kind of tend to like send people to Gurus. It's just like there's so many fun options and it's like never been bad ever. But you really could eat anywhere in downtown Provo. I have actually, and it's everything is good. It's like 70 plus international restaurants, and none of them are chains.
Yeah.
They might be local chains, but not national or big chains. So really, everything that you're getting is created like by someone who truly believes in like that business and restaurant. So it's really delicious.
Awesome. Yeah, the food in Provo is really good. I miss having our office just right downtown because I'd walk to Kay's Kitchen and a lot of the other restaurants down there.
Oh, K's is so good. Yeah, I love K's.
Yep, authentic Japanese, right?
Yep, K's is the best.
Well, let's instead of me just using you for restaurant ideas, let's
Okay.
get into the yeah, let's get into the purpose of the show. I would love to have you just give me your overarching what is social media's role for a destination and how should they be thinking about it?
Yeah, so social media for a destination, I think people don't realize it's become a lot more of an awareness builder than just, converting your internal audience. Followers are mattering a lot less. We're seeing like mostly non-follower views. So your role now is to just catch attention at the very least and then inform, and then hopefully that will convert. But I think people are getting stuck thinking that they're already convert, it's already time to convert, like go to this restaurant. But I think people need to know that it's really about catching attention and building awareness and just showing off how exciting where you are is. I think that's a huge piece of it.
Okay, you just dispelled one of the common misconceptions that I hear about social
Yeah.
media, and that's that. Well, my followers are going to get bugged if I post too much because
Yeah.
people think that followers are who see most of the posts that you make. That's obviously not the
Yeah.
case anymore. That non-follower views have really gone through the roof, and the reality is, if you've created something that's valuable for a specific audience that they find interest in, they're going to
Yes.
see it regardless of whether they're a follower or not.
Yeah, one example of this is kind of funny, but it's on my personal accounts I've been playing around with. I post about a TV show. It got 800,000 views and it got like 13,000 likes. And then I posted about like a cake I made for my mom's birthday and it got a few thousand likes. Those are not related at all, but the algorithm found those audiences and then my friends supported me on both. So shout out to my followers, but my friends. But it's like the social media platforms will find who the content is for. I also saw a crazy stat that was like people consume like 10,000 pieces of content a day or something like thousands of pieces of content a day. So we're kind of full of ourselves if we really think like, oh my gosh, my followers are going to be so annoyed I posted. You're lucky if they're annoyed. That means they realized you posted. Because I get my own videos sent to me by my friends and I'm like, guys, it's really my voice. Like, you guys are brain rotted. So honestly, I've had to get over that misconception, but I have lately and I've just been like, okay, I'll post. And as long as you're putting out quality content, like the algorithm will find what the people that want to watch it. So,
So then how do you think about frequency? Because I think there's a lot of people that say, well, we should only post once a day, or maybe we post twice a day, or maybe we post 3 times a week. In a world where your followers aren't the ones that necessarily that see the content, to me, that makes me feel like volume is less of an issue and high volume is actually a good thing. Am I thinking about that correctly?
yeah, I would say that maybe I'm not like other social media managers. It's maybe the ADHD, but I really go off like I joke like vibes. Like I have a content calendar, but I don't have anything specifically scheduled out. And so I frequency could be I don't have anything really good for a few days and I have to take a break because I don't have the content and it's not worth putting out something that isn't going to perform. Or sometimes it can be that I posted and then 2 influencers sent me their collabs that day, and I'm like, "Okay, sure, I'll accept both of them," and so there's 3 posts in one day. I haven't seen a huge decline in the posts that do well. I think over time, the more I'm learning, the more I'm like, "Wow, if the content is good, the content is good." If I post a video to TikTok and it does really well, I post it to Instagram, it got just as many views. I use the same clips for a different style video, got just as many views. And so I think that you don't want to spam. You don't want the algorithm to think like, wow, this person is just spam posting every day and these aren't doing well. But if you're posting stuff that is genuinely performing or close to performing, then I think volume is not really an issue or a specific frequency. I think it's more about the content and what you feel you could produce well.
So it's not necessarily about the consistent frequency. It's about publishing high quality content and as much high quality content as you can.
Yeah, I think it's like a mixture. It's like you do want quantity in a sense of you don't want to hold yourself back if you don't think it's going to highly perform because you never know. But you also don't want to just be posting every day hoping something hits the wall. If you're a newer account, sometimes that strategy can work, but your followers will see it if you post like 6 times a day. That's where I would really say if you want to play with things, trial reels is super great. I've been using trial reels on my even my personal account because I don't want my friends to see my dorky videos. And that's where I was getting like hundreds of thousands of views on my posts and I have like 1,000 followers on my personal account.
Tell us what trial reels are, because I think a lot of people listening may not know yet. Yeah.
Raw Reels is like a new feature, newish feature that Instagram released, and I'm actually not sure which accounts all have it, but most DMOs as businesses or creators should have it. And it lets you test. I think it's up to 5. You want to be careful because I know they changed the rules. Um, 5 reels a day, and they do need to be different, or it will flag it. Like you do need to change an element. And you can test like hooks. You can test your first video. I found that the first video clip visually you use is literally the most important thing. It's crazy. Like not even your hook, just the first clip. And I've tested that and it's true. And so it gives you an opportunity to kind of test out some concepts about like maybe you're promoting a restaurant and you don't know if you want to say like this viral thing or come with me to this restaurant or what your hook is. So it gives you the opportunity. They don't always really go super far. Sometimes you don't get very good data from them. But sometimes, like for me, I got hundreds of thousands of views off of one trial reel that took me 3 seconds to film. So it's worth testing. It really is a trial. It's like gambling, really. You don't know, but there's not as much risk.
This is what I think is so important for people that are managing social media and publishing content is the whole point is testing and learning and testing and learning and testing and learning, right? And so now that Instagram has released this feature, trial reels, you are now even more equipped to test and learn because you can test multiple versions of that reel as in the trial reels feature, right? So in my mind, what they're basically saying by releasing this feature is you should be testing. And in fact, it's so important that we're now releasing a new vehicle for you to test.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I've talked to a lot of social media managers. They're like, I just don't have the time. It really doesn't have to take up too much time. But anytime you get inspired, get an idea, like I would try to post trial reels like even like once a day if you could. That can be hard. But even if you could front load a couple times a week to do some testing, you want it to be intentional. You don't want to just throw them out to throw them out, but like truly test before you create a video. I think that it's really helpful. And it will feel fruitless at first. It'll feel like this is getting 5 likes and 100 views, but it will benefit you if you stick to it and don't get discouraged too easily.
Great. I think that's already in this conversation. I think there's some great value for those that are listening. Try out that trial reels feature. I think it's going to be really
Yeah.
beneficial for everybody. And you should be thinking about that of leveraging what you post to constantly help you optimize for more learning and what works and what doesn't work. And trial reels will really help, I think.
Totally. Yep.
Well, let's talk about you in managing the social media for a DMO. You're one person. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
only so much content you can gather. Plus, you're responsible for the publishing and distribution of that content. You mentioned earlier you're working on meta ads and things like that. So you can't just be out filming all day and editing all day, right?
No.
Like there's
Be
a lot of
fun. It'd be
it'd be great, right? But there's a lot of different components to your job. And so my my question for you is how do you think about how much content on a DMO social channel should be sourced from the DMO, like you, Bethany, going out and shooting and getting that and editing it together? How much of it should be amplifying your partner's content? You mentioned BYU's in the Big 12, and so we
Yep.
get a lot. BYU's a great content powerhouse. Like they publish a ton of content. And then you've got tons of partners. The Thanksgiving Point, I think, does a ton of content too.
Yep.
So how do you think about your role in leveraging destination specific content versus partner content?
Yeah, so I for partners, we work really closely with them. We meet quarterly, we get assets, we come film or we bring in content creators or influencers, we make a plan. So with partners, it's really like planned out and we're effective with our time. A lot of times like smaller partners too, like even if we don't meet with them, like Wadley Farms has this beautiful castle that went viral. And I was like, man, I want to post about it. It's in my destination, but I hadn't been and when it wasn't winter. And so I was like, what am I going to do? So I texted them. I'm like, do you have any videos in the cherry blossoms? And they did. And they sent me a huge gallery of UGC to use straight from the partner because they want to benefit as well. So they're going to have content. And so first, I always try to reach out to the partner first and be like, what content do you have? Just because it's a lot for us to go film. Then, if I really have time that day and I want to film, I'll film. But a lot of times, I'll hire out UGC creators or influencers to go film, just because we really can't be everywhere. And our time is probably better spent on strategy and editing than getting content. Because honestly, you could probably hand your phone to your niece or nephew or a 10-year-old, and they could probably get just as good content as like me. I mean, they have been on their phones forever. They're little pros. And so I think people get too stressed about like what they have to film and not that the visual isn't important, but I think if you can disperse your time, it's really helpful and just really work with your partners and create relationships is important.
Yeah, I kind of feel like one of the things that I've seen is creativity over production value wins right now. Like
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
it might be highly creative, but it might look like it was shot on an iPhone, and that's okay. Like it gets a lot more views.
Yeah, do not want production value. Basically what I found is either you want the most amazing drone shot you've ever seen for travel, and it needs to feel like announcement newsworthy, or it needs to look like a kid walked into a restaurant with their phone and like started filming the owners. Like it really is like no it's either a vlog that you could have filmed yourself or it's like beautiful drone video. Anything in the middle is very YouTube 2013 and it will flop, unfortunately, even though it's done well.
Super interesting. Guys, have you adjusted for AI yet? I've talked a lot on this show about the importance of making the transition from tactician to strategist, and we in our organization have really done that. It's actually been really fun to have some of the conversations that I've had with some of the DMOs that we talk to. I've reached out and said, look, we're not chasing agency of record work anymore. We want to be the agency that can help you solve the strategy problem you have not yet solved. And when I've asked that question, we've got one destination who's got us building a LinkedIn strategy for them. Another one has us building a Reddit strategy so they can show up more clearly in the LLMs and make sure they're showing up where the searches are happening. There's another destination that's had us build a corporate partnerships program to help them connect better with the local business community and hopefully generate even some unrestricted funding at that point. If you have a problem that you've not yet solved and you need some help to do it, my team is working on some of the coolest projects I've seen in the industry, and I would love for my team to be able to help you as well. Make sure you reach out to me at adam@thebrandrevolt.com if you have one of those nagging projects, a problem you've not yet been able to solve. I'm very confident my team can do it. Remember, adam@thebrandrevolt.com. Hit me up. We'll take a look at what you got and see if we can give it a solve. So then you mentioned that you'll hire UGC creators to go out and gather content for you. How did you build your army of UGC creators that you can just text and assign to go out and do that stuff?
This is going to be kind of funny because it's probably not the way I would say like other DMOs would naturally do it, but maybe you got to find your circles. I was in this giant Utah County girls group chat that had like thousands of girls like in their 20s. And I just was like, hey, is anyone good at filming and like wants to experience a couple things? Like, I really need shots of like these things. And the girls were already going. They're like, oh, we're going to go hike Timp or we're going to go to these wildflowers. And I was like, hey, well, you're already going and I really need content. So I could purchase that content from you. And so that's kind of how I started building it. But it's actually been like word of mouth because I wanted regular people because I knew that what I needed was just regular content. And a lot of times you'll get charged a lot, and sometimes that's good with influencers to pay what they're worth, and they should always be paid what they're worth. But sometimes I don't need an influencer level shot. I just need someone to go eat a corn dog. I'm like, that's all I need. I don't need anything crazy. Like, please just go zip line. I'm not going to zip line. I'm not going to hike 14 hours.
I got to tell you, one of the clips that we have to take from this show and promote is sometimes I just need somebody to go eat a corn dog. It's a great clip.
Yeah, last week that was me. Fruity Pebbles corn dog at Yummy's. Crazy stuff. But
oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy. So yeah, I wanted like regular people, but I knew that kind of girls that were in that group were already like prone to filming things and kind of enjoyed content creation. But right now you'll see everybody that you know is getting into content creation. It's kind of this big boom. And so I think a lot of people have the skills to film and you can utilize that. Even your personal group.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, and this is really interesting to me, if you're going to post it on your own channel and it's not like a collab with a specific influencer or something like that, you've got a big group of, it sounds like women in their 20s that you build, that you can say, hey, I need this type of content, and you'll purchase, they'll go do what they were already going to do anyway, and you'll purchase that content from them, but you're not purchasing it as if they're an influencer. Like, this isn't a $5,000 package.
Oh, no.
What does it cost?
It's less. It's much less. Honestly, I pay them about $125 for the shoot, which is like 10 videos maybe, and I pay for the experience. I think a lot of DMOs that are smaller could honestly get away with, I don't want to say get away, maybe I shouldn't say that, but like be okay with paying someone for the experience because these are regular people that are doing the experience, filming it, and then promoting it. And so there's a lot of people that were like, yeah, I'll take a free dinner to film. And so if you have less resources and you explain, like, I think a big piece is like, we're a nonprofit. We're here to support the county. When people understand that, they're like, oh, you're not making money off of me. You're just showing off like my area. Like, oh, I'd love to. I love my area. They become ambassadors. And so I think as long as you let people know like what you do, you're a nonprofit, this is your goal, they're just as passionate about sharing the area as you. And I don't know, maybe I need to go look up industry rates, but all of my people are happy with it because we're still paying them consistently per shoot and they get to experience cool things and I get videos and we're all happy. So
I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
I honestly really believe in pay transparency with influencers. I really don't love in our industry how it's so hidden because there is no standard. You really don't know. And I want to know if I'm not paying people enough or if I'm paying them like triple what another DMO is. And so yeah, honestly, I really truly believe in like influencer pay transparency as the industry grows.
I love that. So that's your kind of um, your group of people that you can assign to just go out and do it. What about when you see really interesting footage that happens to feature parts of the destination? Like one of the
Yeah.
things you mentioned in our previous call is you will actually, if somebody comes to visit the destination, you see a really interesting reel or TikTok video, you'll reach out to them and you'll purchase some of that footage.
Yeah, I will. I'll just ask them. It really depends. Sometimes it's someone with like a drone shot that's going to cost you a little more. Sometimes it's just like a girl went up and ice skated at Tibble Fork and she's an ice skater and the shots were beautiful. And I was like, hey, can I buy these from you? And she was like, sure. And so it kind of just depends on who's willing and like what you're buying from them. But um, I was realizing I was working harder, not smarter. Like I'd watch a video in my destination. I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, dang, that's beautiful. I wish I could. Now I gotta find an ice skater and ice skates and get up to Tibble Fork. And it's a Monday and I have work. And then I'm like, oh, I could literally just purchase the clips from her. And then she's happy, I'm happy, and we have a good working relationship after that. So
And that's part of how you build your pipeline of people who could gather content for you, right?
yeah, yeah, I've slowly built some, and like we vet people out, and we do give trial periods because we need to see if the content is going to be what we need. I think one thing I've learned is people will pan really fast, like teach your creators to film slow. But yeah, it's kind of a constantly moving thing. But now we have a few pretty set people. I think I need to start breaking into my mom demographics and maybe thinking about different types of people. I just started off of who I knew and could get at the time. But if you can find your niches and who your audience is and find someone that represents the people in your content that are seeing your content, I think that's really effective.
What are some of the mistakes people make that they need to watch out for when they're doing all this?
With UGC creators.
More in general, and of course that's part of it. I'm sure that there's some mistakes you see people making, but managing these social channels, there's so many moving parts, and
Yeah.
I feel like it changes so fast too. And there's a lot of people still doing 2021 social content management when
Yeah.
we're in 2026 and things have changed. So
Right.
tell me a little bit about what you think people need to avoid.
I think one of the biggest things that people are doing is they're posting what they think is social media content instead of actually consuming social media and then replicating what they see do well. We just did an audit last week of like, what are the top 10 viral videos in Utah Valley that other people have created? And why did they go viral? And constantly, me and my intern are watching social media. And it probably looks like we're not working, but we're watching it and we're like, what is making this viral? Or we're testing. I think a lot of times people think, well, I'm supposed to just post this really cool video of this restaurant that's like shot on a camera and like the food's spinning and it's all artsy. And they think like that's what I'm supposed to post. But instead of assuming based on like the past, because social media changes literally every 2 minutes, it's crazy. Like just start being a consumer, start putting yourself in the shoes of the person watching. So if you're doing a trend and you're already sick of the trend, don't post the trend. Like kind of like remind yourself like what it's like to be someone consuming that content and you'll get a better understanding of what you're posting.
What about, I know you guys do a lot of targeting kind of niche demographics, like kind of small groups. How do you
Yeah.
think about which ones to target? How do you think about content creation for those groups? Tell me about your strategy and process for that.
Yeah, so for example with like BYU Big 12, we know that there's a lot in like sports tourism and a lot of people coming out. And so Michaela on our team has worked with identifying those sports influencers, even more mid-level influencers, maybe not like huge players, but people that are actually influencing people. And in our destinations based on data that our woman who does data polls. So we're like, okay, the Arizona crowd is probably going to come through. Notre Dame is huge. So Notre Dame is probably going to come in. So how can we find people that represent Notre Dame specifically to post about coming to Provo? And so we try to identify like genuinely influencers, whether it's, through social media and other ways. Sometimes it's traditional media, but we try to drill in on those niches and have those people come out and feature.
Okay. So I want to hear what you're most proud of that you've done on the social channels that explore Utah Valley.
This will probably be funny because it contradicts that followers are going down. So I'm aware of that. But last year I grew our account 75,000 followers in a year. And originally, the first year I was here, I'd only grown at 8,000 because I was still learning. And so I think that's a big testament that you're going to be learning and you might not kill it your first year. You really might do decent, like fine. But then once I like found our audience and niche and what content does well, I was able to grow it last year. And we actually in February had more views in January and February than we had like at peak fall last year comparatively.
Wow.
So we are still growing. And so I feel proud of that I'm able to understand our audience so much more and like what they're looking for and help people get these experiences.
Great. Is there a specific piece of content that you feel like outperformed what your expectations were?
Oh, there's so many, and that's where I fall back on, like, it's gotta be, like, if the content's good, it's good. I went to a drive-in movie with my friend, which is not around, I'm hoping they come back, and we just took a few quick videos, and I was like, "Man, this is gonna be a rough video." And I was like, "There's only so much I can film." And that video got, like, almost 30,000 likes. It was
No
just
way.
crazy, and so I think it's pretty wild, like, sometimes the content you feel the best about you'll get a few likes, and sometimes the stuff that you weren't sure about gets a ton of likes, and so, there's a lot of crazy ones, but I always love fall. Fall is my favorite time to film here. It's my favorite season in Utah. If you've never come to Utah, come in the fall. It's so beautiful.
Bethany, this has been really interesting. The last thing that I want to do is I actually want to go back to something that you said that I think just the way to think about it is it's really important that we identify that, and that's the difference between views and follower count. Because you
Yes.
said and you said I'm contradicting myself a little bit here. I do want to know, how should we think about follower count and how should we value followers versus
Yep.
attention, non-follower attention?
I think that the way that it probably goes is like views, sends, likes, follower. I think followers is actually pretty low because if you go pull your analytics right now, I'd say like 60% of your views are probably non-followers. And if you think about tourism destinations, our followers are probably locals. That's great. We love locals. They're our ambassadors. That's wonderful. But when we get those non-followers, we're way more likely to hit those target demographics that are going to bring in visitation or the friends of those people that live local. And so I wouldn't say followers isn't important, but I would say you want to look at it as like a positive, passive thing. Like it's a sign that like if you're getting increases in followers, your content is performing, but don't look at it as the only metric. The best metrics are views and sends of your posts. That's what push the views. So
I think saves too, right? Isn't saves a big factor?
yeah, saves is good. Saves is important as well. Um, Comments too, just because they create conversation. But I use a comment automator like many chats a lot of time to push people to our website, and so that helps with comments. But everything I've seen is like views, sends, saves, like likes are just like the last thing in the equation, which is crazy. And followers are like this passive thing that's happening to you now. It's not something you're like going out of your way. I had like 2 viral videos on my personal account, and I gained 30 followers. And they were like semi-viral. One of them has 60,000 plus likes, and it's like
Wow.
very much girlhood and like community, but I gained like 40 followers from it. So,
Got it. Okay, so as you look forward to 2026 and beyond, what do you feel like is the biggest thing destinations need to do to prepare?
yeah, I think the biggest thing they need to do to prepare is find those creators that can be your people, or if you want to get on camera, like you can get on camera. I personally don't love it. Um because what I found in like a lot of my research I've been doing, I just did a bunch of 2026 research, is basically it is that like talking head footage. It's like the series, it's the personal stuff. I saw a video of like 2 videos of a place in Utah Valley, and the first video was just the classic pan over, put text about it, music. And the second post was literally just a girl filming herself outside and then showing the exact same thing. And that girl had like 4 times the amount of views and likes. And so if you can find those UGC people or someone in your office or make it more personal, even voiceovers just aren't even doing quite as well anymore as like talking head videos. I found some really cool influencers that review all the food in their car. And I hired them because they're fun, they're awesome, and it's kinda untraditional. It's like they're getting restaurant food and literally reviewing it in their car, but they already are growing so fast because it's real, it's personal, it's fun, and so
It's not those two guys where one of them's a redhead and the other
yeah,
one.
that's them. Yeah,
Oh, I
Solid
love those
Seek,
guys.
Solid Seek, Alex, and, Casey, I think, yeah. Shout out to them,
Yep.
they're funny. They're so funny.
Their
Yeah,
reviews are awesome. They do a great job.
they are awesome, yeah. Yeah, even the Talking Head series we've done, have helped a ton. We're like, day one of showing you Utah Valley isn't boring, and then people feel engaged with it, so,
Great. Is there anything I
yeah.
haven't asked you, Bethany, that I need to?
The only other thing is just that there are UGC creators, but there's also your influencers, and those are kind of amplification. And I think my biggest tip is that do not see those people as your competition. You are a DMO, so you don't have competition except other destinations, which are also your friends. And so really see those creators as like, wow, I'm so lucky that this person is amplifying content at my destination. How can I work with them? How can we collaborate? How can we do collaboration posts and things like that? I think once you start seeing the people in your community, like maybe host an in-person event as just amplifiers of your destination, then you will create a really like amazing collaborative space.
I love it. Bethany, this has been fantastic. If anybody wants to learn more about some of the stuff that you're working on or wants to ask you maybe a question, pull on a thread from what the
Yep.
conversation we just had, what's the best way for them to do it?
Yeah, they can contact me on LinkedIn. It's just Bethany B. Or if you want to follow us on Explore Utah Valley, I do check the DMs. But yeah, they can totally message me on LinkedIn, and I post a lot about my findings on social media. I'm a little bit too open of a book. I'll put like all my strategy right on my LinkedIn, so they can definitely go follow me there.
Well, and that's part of what actually led me to want to have this conversation is how active you are on LinkedIn, and you are very transparent about your strategy, which I think
Yeah,
it's great for stakeholders to see. I think it's really good
yeah,
of you just personally to continue to build your profile and reach. And anyway, it's been really fun to get to know you. This conversation super insightful for me. Like I've learned a lot, especially uh, follower count versus attention, and the Instagram trial feature was really valuable to me, and explaining that a little bit better. I really appreciate you taking the time today.
yeah. I do have to shout out that Brand Revel did an audit of our social media for like a year or 8 months or something like that, a year and a half ago, right before we really started getting our footing and our growth. And I really think that was huge. Like not sponsored, like truly just the team that we worked with, like really helped us expand our team and see like what I kind of knew we needed to work on, but it really helped us like get direction. And so I just want to shout out your team. Like truly that was so helpful. And I honestly attribute like a portion of our growth to just the learnings that I had like with your team. So
Oh, you're awesome. I didn't know you were going to share that, but I absolutely appreciate it. That's really kind of you.
I forgot. I almost forgot, but I was like, shout out to Christina, shout out to the everybody at Brand Revel. There was like, we actually worked with two of your teams that helped us a ton. I wish I could name everybody. I'm sure they're all over there, but yeah, they're awesome.
Awesome. Well, hey, Bethany, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
And thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to leave us a rating or a review. It helps us continue to bring you amazing guests like Bethany. Thanks everybody, and have a great week. Okay, 2026 has already been a whirlwind of travel for me. I've had the opportunity to speak at several conferences. I'm getting up early in the morning to go speak at another conference. It has been an incredible ride, and I'm really grateful to all the conferences that have had me come speak. The second half of the year, as of right now, I've got a few speaking openings. And if you or your event, whether it's a governor's conference or you're an association, if you're looking for a speaker to come talk about the issues that are facing our industry today, I'm confident I can come in and give your attendees a great experience. So if you'd like me to speak at your conference, my email is adam@thebrandrevolt.com. Hit me up and I'll see if there's a place in my schedule to be able to attend your conference and provide value to your attendees.